Hello, this is Norma and welcome to my channel. Today I'm making some bread pudding. For my bread pudding I'm using white bread. You can use almost any kind of bread, but I like the white one. Here I have 4 cups of milk. It's at room temperature. I have vanilla extract. I have cinnamon. I grated some nutmeg. I had the fresh one, I just grated it. I have raisins that are soaked for 24 hours in my rum. If you don't like to put liquor in your thing, you can omit that. Or sometimes I use bourbon. Here I have a stick of butter. I will be using 4 large eggs. Here I have half a cup of sugar. And I have a little bit of flour. And I'm going to sprinkle on my raisins so everything don't sink to the bottom. It holds onto the raisin. I have a baking dish right here. And I'm going to take my bread and just cut it up. Maybe about this size. And you want to make sure that you use bread that is kind of stale, like maybe 3 or 4 days old bread. You don't want fresh bread. And that was half a bag of bread. I'm going to cut all of it. I'll be back. I've cut up my bread. I'm going to set it aside. And I'm going to take 1 stick of butter. And I'm going to melt it. I have the 1 stick of butter, which is half a cup of butter. I'm going to set that aside. And we're going to move on to the other ingredients. I have another bowl right here. And I'm just going to crack my eggs in there. So that's 4 eggs I'm going to be using. To that, I'm adding half a cup of sugar. That's granulated sugar. I'm also adding a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to whisk it a little bit before I add my milk. And that was whole milk. Now I'm going to add my 4 cups of milk. I'm doing it gradually. And mix it well. That's the custard we're making to put in the bread pudding. So now that I've done that, my melted butter, I'm going to pour it in there. And like I say, it was 1 stick of butter, which is half a cup. Give that a stir. And it's best if you use a whisk to do it. Okay, now I have my bread that I cut up right here. And the mixture, I'm just going to pour it in there. Make sure every piece has some liquid to it. Now the trick is to not just take it and put it in the oven and start baking. I'm going to let it sit out for 30 minutes. And I will be back. It's been soaking for 30 minutes, so let me set it aside. I have this plate right here. And my raisins that I had soaking in the rum for 24 hours. I'm gonna put it here. The rum makes it smell so good. And now I'm gonna take some of my all-purpose flour and just sprinkle some on there. I told you I don't want it to sink, not much. And we're gonna fold that in. I'm gonna put the raisins. And I'm just gonna fold it in. So when I soaked it for 24 hours, my rum, I'm not gonna let it go to waste, so I'm gonna pour it in there. And also just fold it in. My oven, I had it preheating at 350 degrees. Now I'm going to put my bread pudding in the oven. It's been an hour and I just took it out of my oven that was at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I just stuck a skewer. It came out very clean, but it's very soft. So I'm going to let it sit before I cut it, and I'll be right back when it's cool.